Hope you all are doing well. I just wanted to hop on here just to have a conversation about two statements, one of which is a question potentially, maybe they both are. I'm sorry versus will you forgive me? My good friend and my coach, Julia Woods with Beautiful Outcomes, has done a really cool job of just helping me understand the differences between the two that exist in conversation. As I've grown as a husband and as a dad and as a small business owner, the fact of the matter is we will all mess up. And we will all break commitments. We will disappoint, and we will either do it because we know that we've done something wrong, or maybe we really don't know that we've done something wrong, but in fact, it turns out that a broken commitment was potentially made that we discover later. And regardless of what those circumstances are, what the opportunities that have taken place are, I'm sorry and will you forgive me are probably two important things to say. And if you haven't said them before, then can I invite you to actually add these to your communication, so that not so that we can invite shame. The reason why I'm differentiating the two isn't so that we can put shame and blame and condemnation on somebody, but instead live into authenticity, live into growth, live into who we truly are meant to be by such powerful statements that bring forth a level of depth and of vulnerability and of growth. And so differentiating the two is such a gift whenever we actually stand in it and process, I'm sorry, what do I mean by that, versus will you forgive me? And the two things is, one that comes to my mind and that Julia really does a great job talking about, is one's a statement. I'm sorry. I think about our son or our little kids who get caught, right? And they hit somebody, they speak poorly to the parent, and right away, the adult's on them, and okay, now go apologize, right? And then they go, I'm sorry. And they technically did exactly what you want them to do, and they're wrong. But do they really mean anything by it? Right? Part of it is just growing in the awareness factor of something that they should not have been doing, can be done or could be fixed by owning and taking responsibility for it. But there's not a whole lot of transformation, because frankly, whenever you say, will you forgive me? It's allowing the person who's been hurt to actually have a conversation and make a decision for themselves that I cannot make for them. Whenever I go to M and I say, hey babe, will you forgive me for not listening? I'm surrendering the control factor of trying to direct her next steps. She may say no. It's her choice, but I'm at least being willing to own my actions and allow for her heart to come into the conversation of maybe just hearing her out. What's going on? What's really hurting? And maybe experiencing some growth and some transformation, because now she's able to help me grow and myself just show up as a husband in a way that I really want to be. So just initially, the first thing that comes to my mind is, and maybe you guys can relate to this, is, hey, one's a statement, one is a legitimate question. One requires, one can simply, show up as, I got caught, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been looking at that, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And it's just because I got caught, that's where the I'm sorry statement can really come into play. And let's be honest, we've all seen that happen, right? Contracts broken, or somebody hears a message, or receives a text message or an email that they shouldn't have received, or was not meant to be directed towards them. And so now the person is doing the whole, oh, I'm sorry, that shouldn't have, been said to you. And it's because they got caught. Because they knew that they shouldn't have been talking poorly. They shouldn't have been gossiping. They shouldn't have been having that conversation. Here they are. They're facing reality that they've gotten caught. And I've done this before, guys. It sucks. There's nothing sexy about it. But the opportunity here is to live life differently, so that we can live in freedom and not in condemnation. Because whenever I can say I'm sorry in those situations, I'm not really walking in the freedom that allows for a relationship to take place. And I want to walk in that space. So if that's something that you guys are relating to, is, hey, I want to grow. Well, growth happens whenever we can actually ask for questions, ask for feedback, invite others, right? Will you forgive me? If you're a person of faith, and particularly a Christian faith like myself, right? Whenever we go to God for forgiveness, it means I'm not going to a place of shame, because when God says, I have made all things new, right? We get to go to Him with confidence, knowing that if I surrender my brokenness and I ask for forgiveness, I get to then accept the forgiveness that He has bestowed upon to me through Jesus. Okay, by Jesus' sacrifice, I can then walk in the freedom of living a life that is truly for God and for other people and loving them. But coming to God with, I'm sorry, can maybe rob me of the relationships and the authenticity and the depth that we all crave for. Are we willing to step into that, friends? I want to invite the forgiveness, okay? And here's the thing. Forgiveness may not happen overnight for some people, for some conversations, and that's okay. Are we willing to ask the question to people that we love, to clients that we have hurt, to children that we may have hurt? Are we willing to listen to them so that we can learn, and then so we can show up in a way that we crave for? But here's the thing. In asking for forgiveness, it does require some level of vulnerability, because we can't control them. We can't control the response. Are we willing to surrender our wrong, our part in it? Are we willing to own it? And then fight for the love, fight for the client, fight for the relationship that we so desire. Let me know what you guys think, honestly. If this is resonating with you, great. If it's not, tell me, right? I've seen a lot of people very boldly share how they start with, hey, I'm sorry, and then leading to an action step of, will you forgive me? Right? Hey, babe, I'm sorry for doing this. Will you forgive me? Because then it could there's one answer to all this. I'm saying, is there a difference between I'm sorry versus will you forgive me? And I think the answer is yes. But I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. And I'd love to know how it shows up in your relationships, especially because we are relational people. And if we really want the depths and joys of relationships, we also have to come with terms with that we're going to mess up. And if we're going to mess up, I want to show up. I want to show up differently, even if it takes lots and lots of years and lots of practice. I want to show up for my kids, for my wife, for my clients whenever I don't. And asking for forgiveness is part of that growth for me. And I just want to invite you guys into that conversation. I hope that is a good way to help you with your Monday. Maybe there's somebody that you do need to ask for forgiveness for. Maybe there's somebody that legitimately needs to hear the words I'm sorry from you for. Who is that person? Who is that client? Who is that child? Who is that partner? Who is that friend? Are you willing to be vulnerable for the sake of the relationship that you love and for the authentic self that you truly believe yourself to be for? So I hope that blesses you this Monday. I hope you have a wonderful week. Feel free to leave some comments. Follow me on YouTube or on Facebook, and would love to keep the conversation going. These are such wonderful conversations that I love having with you all and my clients in the coaching realm, because forgiveness is such a blessing. And whenever we get to do it with people that we love, life is so much sweeter, friends. So I hope that encourages you today and the days to follow. Thanks again, guys. And